president is not really much. A president is only the chief executive officer of the United States, which is a very important position. But that's not the cure-all for anything. The question is, having become the chief executive officer, what's he going to do? Is he going to be a leader of a nation, or is he going to be a guy holding onto a prize called the presidency as something he won in a raffle called a national election? Because he's like Hamlet. Hamlet could have saved the nation of Denmark, but he failed to do so. So the story is not a story about how Hamlet failed or succeeded in becoming successful. He wanted to die, he was successful. The story is about a man who was in a position of leadership, upon whose leadership the fate of his nation depended. And he sank like a sinker and took the nation with him because he was a fool. What did he say? You go to the two famous soliloquies in Shakespeare's Hamlet, which get to the heart of the problem, which is the heart of what we're going to be addressing in these 2 days here. He's had a rehearsal of this group of traveling players. And as the players leave, and then his two cronies leave, he stands alone and he says, "Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I, that this actor here could make such a show of passion for nothing, for Hecuba." What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba? What would he do if he had the cause and cue for passion which I have? He would drown the state with tears. And yet I peak like John of Dreams and can do nothing but for my cause. A man who's incapable of acting when he has great motivation and cause to act. A man in a leading position who can shape the future of his nation stands speaking like John of Dreams, unpregnant of his cause, doing nothing, with no passion to do anything to save his nation from a catastrophe. You say, now what's this all about? The curtain falls on that soliloquy. Then Act 3 opens, and you have this prostitute, sort of like an Anne Boleyn of the drama, Ophelia. Ophelia is being used like a prostitute by the king and by her father to attempt to manipulate and handle Hamlet in the way in which Anne Boleyn, the strumpet of the Howard family, was used to manipulate Henry VIII. An image which was very much in the mind of Shakespeare at that time. So there's a meeting of these guys. I've invited Hamlet to come. Ophelia, you're going to be reading a book, walking along the path intersecting. And Hamlet is aware of this. His insults to Ophelia, comparing her to a strumpet, afterward reflect that understanding. So he's not crazy in calling Ophelia a strumpet and telling her to get to a nunnery and save her soul. But what does he say about himself? He speaks in the subjunctive, the real subjunctive. To be or not to be. Those terms are in the subjunctive. They're not in the indicative mood. They're in the subjunctive mood, which people who follow Hobbes and empiricism don't believe in. To be a what? There are two states. One is the state of knowing, the tradition which is going to guide you in your action. The other is a new way of thinking, or a different way of thinking, which violates your tradition, by which you might survive. You are certain that if you follow tradition, you are doomed. To be or not to be? What's the issue? The issue is, this is like death. Death is an experience from which no one has returned. And to change my ideas, to change my axioms of belief, is to me like death. It's uncertainty. It's the unexplored, the unexpected. I would rather bear the ills I have and die than go into this strange area of new things, contrary to tradition, and live. And so he walked to the end of the drama into an orgy of death, which he knew he was walking into like an existentialist, because he refused to admit that what he assumed to be beforehand the right way of thinking was the only way of thinking which he could accept. And he would rather die than change that.